All right, folks, it's time for our favorite podcast, Cut to the Chase. And yes, I do have COVID. Okay, we're gonna but I can't infect anybody, because we're living by Zoom. So, I'm bringing on Susan Goodkind Wideman today.
Yep.
How are you doing today, Susan?
I am great, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I dragged you out of court because
Sort of.
Sort of. I think that, a lot of my topics are mass torts, environmental issues, but this one is really specifically designed for the lawyer, all right? It's not just for, hey, maybe I've got a case in court, my lawyer won't talk to me, I'm going to listen to this podcast and see what's going on. No, this is, hey, listen, us lawyers, we got a lot of stress. We got a lot of pressure, right?
Yes.
A lot of us went to law school thinking that we were going to be arguing in front of the Supreme Court and having this glamorous life like a barrister. And then you get a big job and you're so excited. And you're like, oh my God, I'm making so much money. I can't believe it. And then a couple of years later, you're like, wow, this is horrible. Horrible. I'm not even learning how to be a lawyer. And depression sinks in. And, even worse than that. So this show is, if you're a lawyer out there and you're like, wow, I'm not feeling that great, or maybe you're even suicidal or whatever, I brought Susan on here to talk to you and let you know what you can do to help yourself. So Susan, let's talk. You do the talking now.
Okay. Let me give you a little background so you know how I came to be in this space, because I too had a very robust legal practice. I had my own law firm. I specialized in elder law and estate planning. And just like now, it was a small firm, it was me, and then I brought on a partner. So I'm not necessarily a big law person, but the same kinds of pressures and problems happen whether you're a single practitioner, sole practitioner, or whether you're in a big firm. We come to this practice, I came to the practice super charged up, really high achiever, work. I was of that ethic of the harder you work, the better you're going to do. And I just, excuse the expression, but I busted ass. I mean, I did. I worked my buns off because that's what we do. And that's why we're so good at being lawyers. Problem was, I became just a lawyer. I kind of put everything else in my life. I pushed it aside and thought, well, I'll take care of that later because I'm a lawyer and that's what I have to do. And my life started to go off the rails. My husband got sick with cancer. He passed away. I was in a very bad accident. Things started to go off the rails for me, and I didn't give myself the grace to deal with those things. I just went to my old philosophy of power through, and I just kept going and going. And eventually it started to take a toll on me. My focus was getting off. My mood was getting off. I started to get kind of bitchy, started to go through a lot of staff, hated seeing my clients. I mean, it was just, I had changed dramatically. And then it got to the point that I really could not do my job. And I knew it. I was having a hard time tapping into that part of my brain that just kind of knew what to do and was very quick and responsive. Anyway, long story short, I burned out and I didn't even know it. I didn't know what was going on. I just knew I had a problem, and yet I didn't want to tell anybody. I mean, I came to work every day and did my job. I looked like $1 million and everybody thought I had my shit together.
Yeah.
But I had to quit. Not quit, but I had to sell my practice. I could, ethically, I thought, I'm going to get myself in trouble here. If I make, and I did make a mistake that I got a malpractice claim on. It wasn't a big deal, but I transposed some numbers in something and I didn't catch it.
Yeah. And
it hurt my client. And that malpractice filed. But that was just one of those things from not being focused, not being attentive. It just, life was a mess. So I approached my law partner, and who was much younger than me, and I said, I'm ready to step aside here. Would you like to buy the practice? And she did. And I took time off, 2.5 years approximately, to just figure out what the hell happened to me and how am I going to get better. Yeah. And this was not just take a bubble bath and go for a walk kind of stuff. I was exhausted, and it took me that long. I went through cognitive behavioral therapy. I took medicine for a while. I did some coaching, and then eventually things turned around. And I felt so good. I felt like my old self, that energetic, creative, go-get-em person. And I thought, well, now what? I really didn't want to go back and to pick up my practice again. And besides, it was gone. I thought, I'm going to go out there and find the other lawyers who are going through this and see if I can help them to turn it around. So maybe they don't go down into the dark hole that I went to, or else if they're there, how are they going to get out of it? How do you get back from all of that? And a lot of this has to do with the way we think about ourselves and the expectations. You know, our strengths as lawyers are we're high achievers. We're very attentive to detail. We're diligent. We're just on top of things. And all of those are great strengths. However, when we go overboard with some of those things, they start to work against us. Example, a lot of my clients say that they're perfectionists, which is awesome. I mean, if you're doing briefs and legal documents and they're perfect, that's awesome. But when the need for perfectionism is so overwhelming that you start to not want to do your work because you're scared you can't do it well enough, you start to procrastinate and put things off, then it's counterproductive to be a perfectionist. I mean, the point of being a perfectionist is to have the comfort of things being perfect. But if you're always worrying about that, about the desire to be perfective, that you're not perfect, that you're not good enough, that you have to do things over and over, all of a sudden you've tipped the scales, so to speak, to where this strength has become actually a sabotaging way of being. You're sabotaging yourself. Make sense?
Yeah. No. All right. So listen,
Okay.
Thank God, I'm going to say this. Thank God we don't have, this is not a PG rated show, because you would have been disqualified right out of the gate. But no, I love it. I love it.
Oh my God.
It's passion, passion. And that's, a lot. And I know like a lot of people, a lot of lawyers are like perfectionists, and a lot of them are very passionate also. And, if you're a trial lawyer and, forget about perfection, it's win or lose. And if you lose,
right,
then, what did you do wrong? And your client is going to fire you,
yep.
and, the whole 9 yards. It's a bad cycle. You wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and right
Yes.
out of the gate, you start thinking about that silly little hearing with that annoying attorney on the other side who's a year out of law school, has no idea what he or she is doing, and you can't go back to sleep. And it's detrimental to your overall well-being.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
now you must have started some kind of company or some business.
So I have my own practice, my own coaching practice. It's called Goodkind of Life. My middle name is Goodkind. And so we just kind of use that to make my brand. And I work with attorneys either one-on-one or in groups to teach them how to get back in control of their minds, because that's really where it stems. First, to teach them how to be self-aware. I had no clue how my problems were affecting other people. I mean, I knew I felt like, what, but I didn't realize other people were like, yeah, you do. I had one secretary who left me. She quit, and she told me, can I say a bad word?
Yes, please.
She told me the day she quit, she said, you are a toxic fucking bitch.
Oh.
And whoa, me, I'm so kind. And so self-awareness, to recognize what we're doing, how we're behaving, how it's affecting other people. So these are parts of things that I teach in my program, to get that self-awareness in line, and then to learn to control your mind. And this isn't woo-woo shit, this is neuroscience. We as humans tend to default into negative thinking. Our neural pathways kind of go that way. We get something happens and boom, we go back into those thoughts of like, I got to be good enough. I got to be perfect. If nobody will like me, if I don't do this, whatever those judging thoughts are, we just do that automatically. We can learn to stop that, to start our brains into a different pathway that opens up things like creativity, innovation, focus. Okay, lots of us had that before. We were able to do those things. And as we got so caught up in all of these perfection and high achievement, we let that other stuff go. But we need it. We need those things as well as the great skills, those perfection and high achieving skills. We need all that to keep ourselves on track. So we learn how to become self-aware, recognize those negative thoughts that we have, how to control our brains. We do little mental exercises actually to get ourselves so that we can control, come out of those thoughts, and then pivot into thoughts that are more productive, more action oriented for us.
All right. So let's say
It's not. Yeah.
let's say I'm one of these lawyers that my anxiety is just through the roof. Even my dog, won't kiss me anymore. And I know I got problems.
Okay.
And I'm listening to this show and I'm saying to myself, okay, I'm gonna be kind of like, the guy, the person that says, no. I know I got a problem, but you can't solve it. So do I have to visit you? Are you going to put me on the couch and talk about what was going on when I was 2 years old? And I got to come to I'm not, tell me what the program is.
I'm not a therapist. I'm not, which you may need a therapist, but what I'll be working with you on is like, where are you right now? You're high anxiety, you're so stressed out, you want to kill somebody or whatever it may be. Okay, where are you? Let's start to pull that apart and figure out what's at the root of that. Are you afraid of something? Are you striving for acceptance or validity? Like, what's at the root of all that? So we really have to dissect it, get down to the root, and then rethink. First of all, calm down, but rethink, okay, if this is really what's at the root of it, the problem is that you are afraid of losing because it's going to make you look bad and it's going to da, da, da. All right, well, so then what can we do about that? Rather than staying stuck in the worry and agitation and the anxiety, what could we do to change that situation? And is the fear warranted? Is it helpful? Is it warranted? So we're going to take a problem, neutralize it, and then find a better solution that takes care of whatever your concern is, but moves things forward. Because right now you're stuck in that anger and that resistance and rejection. How are we going to do this? Well, we could do it by Zoom, like you and I are talking right now. I do that a lot. I haven't been meeting with people in person a lot just because COVID. And you can do it one-on-one. You and I can talk one-on-one. I do an in-depth 8-week program that gets people, boom, turned around quickly. And then if they want to continue to work with me on applying all that what they've learned, we do more. But so we can work one-on-one, or I can do groups. I know attorneys don't always like to be in groups when they're talking about, mental wellness issues, but I have had several groups go through together. And what's great about that is they feel when they connect with other people who are going through similar things, it makes them feel not so isolated. And they learn from each other.
All right. Yeah. So how long have you been doing this?
2 years. Okay.
And where are you located?
I'm in Marquette, Michigan, but obviously Zoom puts me everywhere.
Yeah. But I'm just, at some point there might not be, people might want the, face to face or whatever. So it's good, that, that option will eventually, hopefully will come back again. All right. So I think, and I know a lot of lawyers. I've been doing this for 27 years. Okay. I put myself in the middle of lawyer land in downtown Miami. And my father's an attorney, so I knew a lot of attorneys growing up. And I've seen a lot, I've heard a lot of them just so negative and this, that, and the other thing. And a lot of the attorneys that I, would hear complain, oh, the client is your worst enemy and everything is negative. A lot of times I said, this person shouldn't even be a lawyer. They should do something else or whatever. I mean, is that part of your program? I mean, do you identify people that you're like, you know what? You shouldn't be a lawyer. Don't fight it. Yeah, you went to law school and spent a lot of money on it, but you know what? Guess what? It's just not for you.
Great question, because I'm not about telling people what to do. I'm about helping them figure out, using their own knowledge, their own resources, what to do. Example, I had a woman reach out to me today who is a practicing attorney, and she just got offered a job or an opportunity to work at a bank as a trust officer. And she wanted me to help her figure out, should she do that or should she not? I didn't give her the answer, should she do it or not. I helped her get down to the root of the issue, to look at, okay, what are your values? What's important to you? And she identified the things that are, we took some digging that, she wants security, she wants flexibility, she blah, 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 and then use those as a lens to look at the situation. So again, the person who maybe is so negative, we're either going to work on changing perspective and figure out where's all that negativity come from. Is it warranted? Maybe they're missing something. Maybe they're not seeing something that I'm seeing because I don't live in their skin. And we're either going to change their perspective and help them diminish that negativity, because I was surely super negative by the time I burned out, or we're going to help them see that really it isn't a good fit. Being a lawyer doesn't resonate with what's important to them.
That's right. And that's just the reality. You're and it's same thing like with a lot of athletes, and they get in trouble and people are like all over them. And I say to myself, you know what? The person is 22 years old. I mean, like what, they got tons of money. Of course you would, and some people, it's like they graduate, they don't know what they want they get into law school. It's like, you're like presented with this, life-changing decision when you might not even really be ready for it. And then, it's 10 years later and life just keeps going. It's moving. It's not going to stop no matter what your situation is. And, I think at some point, self-reflection is critical. Even, you reached out to me and said, hey, are you in a good spot? I am in a good spot. Okay. I got COVID. I got problems, hair follicle challenges, everything, I'm a big screamer and I enjoy screaming, it makes me who I am. And, I call it passionate talk, but I just, I say to myself, I think everybody does need a self-evaluation. Let's just say instead of the program that you have, let's say somebody just wants a one-time consult, just a, hey, you know what, I think I'm doing all right, but maybe I'm not, maybe, I got to hear myself talk to see what the hell's going on. Do you do that also?
I do. When I practiced law, I had an initial free consultation, and I do the same thing in my coaching practice. So if people go to my website, which is www.goodkindoflife.com, there's a place there that you can set up a free, what I call discovery call. And I will not push you. I will not pressure you. I never did that when I was a lawyer. I didn't pressure people to become my clients, and I won't do it as a coach. But if we connect and I'm helping you open up your mind and see some things you didn't see, you're thinking, I want more of this. This makes sense. This is helpful. Then we can talk about, well, how do you want to work together? Do you want to do my intense program? Do you work one-on-one? But yes, one free session for anybody who wants to get a taste of what this is about.
All right. Excellent. All right. So I'm going to give you the last question, and I'm going to put your back is going to be up against the wall on this question. Do you think you're helping your clients?
I don't just think, I know. It's profound. Not everybody gets the full benefit because not everyone wants to do the work, but the people who do the work with me, it's life-changing. It really is, because it's not just about being a lawyer. It's about every part of your life. Once you learn to manage your brain and how to get your thoughts in the right place, you can use it everywhere. Work, friends, lovers, your dog. But really, these are just, it's like an operating system that you can use everywhere. So short answer, long answer, short question. Absolutely, I know I am.
Okay,
absolutely.
That's going to do it for this episode. I'm going to have show notes, and even if you didn't get Susan's website and all that, all of her information is going to be there. So if you're like, hey, you know what, maybe I should have this free consult, and I don't know, maybe I'm not doing so great. My wife says that I'm, impossible. My friends don't even call me up anymore. The judges, they see me walking down the street and they turn and walk the other way. Maybe there is something, you're sitting there thinking everything is rosy or whatever, but sometimes you don't even realize what's going on. And then maybe that's me, but in any event, that's the end of this. There's going to be no call to action. The call to action here is give Susan a call, get a checkup. Okay. Yep. You don't want 20 more years to pass. And then you wake up and say, yeah, wow, I should have done something 20 years ago when I was listening to Greg Hoffaber on that R-rated show with Susan cursing left and right. All right. That's
Really,
good.
don't let it go. If you're feeling these things, I'm your partner. I'll help you. I'm not going to judge you.
All right. That'll do it for this episode of Cut to the Chase. You know what to do. Subscribe, rate, and review. Yes, I had to give that little CTA, as we call it. But that'll do it, Susan.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Okay.
And
Oh my God.
we'll talk again. All right.